Alexander Koti is one of two to have been detained. Syrian Kurdish fighters have captured the last two surviving members of the Islamic State's notorious British Beatles terror cell, according to American officials. Alexander Koti and El-Shafi el-Sheikh were picked up as local forces fought running battles with ISIL close to the border with Iraq, officials told The Telegraph. The gang's leader, Mohammed Emwazi, better known as Jihadi John, died in a 2015 airstrike. He appeared in a string of propaganda videos and was filmed beheading British and American hostages. A fourth member, Ain Davis, is serving a 7-year jail term in Turkey. It apparently brings to an end the grisly regime of fear led by the four young men from West London, who gained their nickname because of their British accents and who were linked to a string of murders in Iraq and Syria. Last year The Telegraph reported that the two missing men were on an American kill list, reserved for senior Islamic State terrorists. El-Shafi el-Sheikh is also being held. Unnamed American officials, quoted in The New York Times last night, said the pair were picked up by the Syrian Democratic Forces as they fought the last remaining pockets of ISIL fighters near the river Euphrates. It added that the men were identified by fingerprints and other biometric means. It brings to an end an exhaustive search for two of the world's most wanted men, who had been on the run as ISIL lost control of territory and retreated in disarray from what had once been its caliphate. El-Sheikh arrived in Britain as a child when his communist-supporting parents fled Sudan. He was 5 when his family claimed asylum. Ain Davis is serving a 7-year jail term in Turkey. Credit Enterprise News. His identity was revealed 2 years ago when British intelligence officials said they believed the former fairground mechanic from White City in West London was part of the so-called Beatles cell. All four were based in Raqqa and quickly became known for their brutality. Emwazi appeared with his face covered and voice disguised in a string of videos in which captives including British aid workers David Haines and Alan Henning were beheaded. Intelligence agencies on both sides of the Atlantic joined the hunt for the four. In January last year, American authorities confirmed that Koti was the fourth member and imposed sanctions on him. Rubble in Old Town in Aleppo. Credit Omar Sanadiki. Reuters. At the time, the U.S. State Department said Koti was a guard for the Beatles, and was believed to be engaged in the group's executions and exceptionally cruel torture methods, including electronic shock and waterboarding. It added that he acted as a recruiter for ISIL and was responsible for recruiting several British nationals. He grew up as a Queen's Park Rangers fan and lived just 2 miles away. Emwazi, the half-Ghanaian, half-Greek Cypriot, came from a family of dress cutters in Shepherd's Bush and is believed to have converted to Islam, grown a beard, and begun dressing in traditional robes in his early 20s, after falling in love with a Muslim woman. Born in 1983, Koti was also connected to the London Boys, a network of extremists who fomented radical Islam while playing five-a-side football in West London and who were linked to the 7/7 London bombings and the subsequent failed 21/7 plot. Syrian army fighters are operating against ISIL in Deir ez-Zor. The Syrian Democratic Forces. Credit LOUAIBESHARA. AFP. Getty Images. He left 2 young children in Britain to travel to Syria. The fourth member, Davis, was convicted of being a member of a terrorist organization and jailed for 7.5 years at a court in Silivri, Turkey, in May 2017. At the time of his arrest, Turkish officials said he was detained with a number of people planning a terror attack. The U.S. authorities refused to confirm the reports of their arrest last night. The British government declined to comment on the reports last night.